Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's episode, I want to get into the Neewer Q4 Pro, which is this fairly big flash that we were sent over. So full disclosure, Neewer sent this flash over for testing. They wanted us to give you guys our honest feedback on it. Now, here's the thing. I used to say that I didn't want to make a video until I went out and tested it, played with it, all that. But one thing that I noticed is that when I did that, you guys would come back and give us questions, and really good questions actually. So instead of doing that, what I'm doing now is just kind of giving you guys a little overview of the equipment that we're getting first. And then after that, we take it out on shoots, we post a little bit of that, and we answer any questions you guys leave. So as I'm talking about this flash, if you guys have any questions, any comments, anything you want to mention, leave them somewhere, leave a comment, leave a message, and I'll make sure to either touch on it, answer it, or experiment with anything that you guys mentioned. For example, there's been some flashes where people have asked, hey, does it work while it's plugged in? And I didn't know. I actually went out, tested it, and made sure that I answered after I tested it out. So with that long disclaimer out of the way, this is the Q4 Pro. So this is the updated model. I know that they make the Q4, but the Pro has a few updated features. So let's jump into it. First and foremost, obviously it's a 400 watt flash, which is pretty significant. It's a very powerful flash. It's also a pretty heavy flash. It's about 5 pounds. The exact weight is on the screen right now, but just to round it off, it's about 5 pounds, which is not a light flash. It's not something that you would carry all the time. Secondly, it's, as you guys are seeing, a different shape. It's not your standard typical, like, the AD400, which I got rid of somewhat recently. That one is a little bit longer, and this one obviously is more square, more flat. I do like this, and I'm not just saying it. I requested this flash from Neewer multiple times. They didn't have it in stock. They said that they had already sent out a bunch to other people to test out. So I did request it a few times because I'm very curious how it works on a light stand and how balanced it feels. Because one thing that I don't like about the typical big flashes is that sometimes it is a little front heavy because the balance is obviously a little bit longer. And on this one, the balance is in the back. So if we put a modifier on this, which you easily can, just like you guys saw me remove the reflector, it's a Bowens mount. So when we put the softbox on it tomorrow, we actually have a couple of photo shoots tomorrow in the middle of the day. So we're definitely going to be using this unit. It should be pretty easy to slap on, and we'll see how less front heavy it's going to be than your typical big flashes. Now I'm going to fire off a few notes that I made about this flash because I wanted to give you guys as much information as basically what I found to be interesting when I was doing some research. So a few things to note: it has 325 full power pops, which is actually a little bit less than the original Q4. The Q4 had 400 pops. This one is 325. Still plenty, and we're talking about full power. So if you're blasting at full power, you're gonna get over 300 shots, which is still very decent. That was one gripe that I had with my AD400. I don't know if it was a faulty battery or I don't know, maybe it was just because it was an older unit, but it never, even from the very beginning, gave me more than, I would say, like 150 full power shots. It would die very quickly, and I didn't like that. So if it's over 320, I'll let you know tomorrow because we're going to be shooting in the middle of the day. So we're going to be shooting in high power, high speed sync a lot. So that's that. 1.2 second recycle time at full power. That's very quick. Let's put that to the test. So I'm going to turn it on, spin it. There we go. We're going to go all the way to full power. We're going to hit test. There we go. I did shut off the beeping, so you guys didn't hear any beeping, but look at the red light. I'm going to hit test, and it comes back. So seems accurate, and it also is bright enough to cook my face, so that's why I faced it the other way. High speed sync, like I said, up to 1/8,000th of a second, which I use high speed sync all the time. You can use ND filters and all this other jazz. I actually have an ND filter that I need to test, that I need to post for you guys, but I just haven't gotten around to doing that. Typically, we use high speed sync more than we use ND filters. That's just preference. I find it to be easier You guys let me know what you think, what you guys use. It has 10 stops of adjustments all the way down to 1/5/12 power, which I like because sometimes you're in an indoor situation and you don't need a ton of power. Obviously, this is made for when you need a lot of power, so it's not really a flash that I'm going to be using indoors a whole lot. When I'm shooting indoors, I'm going to try to keep my kit as light as possible, so I'll be using a 100 or a 200 watt unit. This is when I'm shooting in the middle of the day or when I need a lot of power, and I know that I'm going to need a lot of power. But the fact that it goes down to 1/5/12 is really nice. The color temperature is 6,000 Kelvin, which is a little bit warmer than the original Q4. The Q4 was 5,600 Kelvin. This one is 6,000 Kelvin. I mean, am I really going to notice that slight difference? Probably not, but you know, something that I wanted to mention to you guys. Also, another thing, I don't want to make it completely like a comparison to the Q4, but another thing is it does have a color grouping. So as you guys see right there, it has A and it looks red. So that way, you know, if you have multiple ones of these, or if you have this, and then you have a smaller unit that's one of the newer ones, you're gonna see the color of the group. So that way you can see that the red one is A, and then what's B? Let me see. B looks like a green yellow. I don't know if I'm colorblind. C is green. C is definitely green. D is blue. E is purple. And then A back again is red. So, I mean, that's nice just so you can know which one it is. Am I going to have my assistant memorize the colors? Probably not. I'm just going to ask him or her which color or what group it is. And that's how I'm going to do it. But it's nice that it's there. And it does say that you can control it from your phone and also do updates with your phone to do the update, the firmware update. The update part is definitely more like that. That's really nice. I do like that. Controlling the power, all that, I probably wouldn't do it from my phone because I'm going to do it from my remote. More on that in a second. But I think the fact that you can do the firmware update from your phone to the unit, that's really nice. I haven't played with that yet, so I'll get back to you guys on that part. And then freeze mode, this is one thing that like I'm not well versed on at all, guys. So forgive me if I get this little bit wrong. But you know, from the research that I gathered, the flash duration, because that's a question that somebody asked, is 1/28,570th of a second versus 10,989 of a second on the base Q4, so on the original Q4. So it's what, almost 3 times as quick? Again, that's not a feature that I'm like really thinking about. I'm not shooting like water droplets or birds, or what do you shoot with that fast frame rate? I don't know, guys. So I'm just giving you the information that's important to some people. Not really something that's as relevant for what we do, but I wanted to mention it since it's something that I found. This is one thing, the modeling lamp. It is very, very powerful. And you can change it. I believe it says 3 different settings, but right now I'm just changing it from, that's full power, and you can bring it down all the way down to 5/12. Obviously, you know what you're going to be shooting. There's also, oh, that's continuous. So even if I change the power of the flash, the modeling lamp doesn't change. And then off, obviously. But it's a very, very powerful modeling lamp. I don't really use a modeling lamp, to be honest. So not necessarily something that I'll be using a ton, unless I'm shooting with a videographer and then I'll run it by them and I'll say, hey, do you want me to turn on the modeling lamp so you can also get a shot and have some lighting? Sometimes we're shooting in a very dark area and that helps them. So I'll ask them. But what I'm not going to do is set up a modeling lamp, mess up their shot because they already have their own lighting. So I try to communicate with videographers to make sure that I'm helping them and not getting in their way. So that's, you know, nice. It has a modeling lamp so you can visualize the light, see what it's going to look like, and also autofocus in the middle of the night if it's a really, really dark area and you need that. And the remote trigger, that's one thing that I said I was going to touch on. It does work with the Godox system. The only thing is that you have to go into the menus and then you have to scroll down where it says RX compatible. So when you turn on RX compatible, now it's going to work with the Godox remote. I have the Godox X3 Pro and it worked with that one. I can't confirm every other one because I don't have every other one, but it's a 2.4 gigahertz transmitter, so it should work with all the other ones. That is one thing that's very important to me because I do generally shoot more with Godox flashes, but the fact that I can purchase this one because it is a lot cheaper than the AD400 And again, like I said, not even just the price, it's the size that I like and the shape of it, because I think I'm under the suspicion that it is going to be a little bit more balanced. Like I said, I'll get back to you guys and give you my honest feedback on that. But I do like that I can use my Godox remotes for this flash unit. The only thing, like I said, RX compatible. Make sure you turn that on. It has first and second curtain. Usually I try to put it on rear curtain for the majority. The reason for that, I do have to play around with it a little bit, because that's not something that sometimes it'll allow, the flash will allow it, right? But your camera won't allow that. So I have to play around with that a little bit. The reason I like rear curtain sync is because, let's say I'm shooting the bride and groom, for example, what we usually shoot, and they're moving a little bit, but I want to freeze them. I'd rather my flash goes off at the end so the camera absorbs the ambient, and then at the end it flashes so it freezes them, instead of trying to freeze them in the beginning, then it absorbs a bunch of light and they're out of focus or they're a little bit blurry. So that's the benefit of using rear curtain, because that way, like I said, you record the ambient light and then boom, you can hit them at the end with the flash and it freezes them at the end. So I'm gonna figure that out, play with that. Something that I wanted to mention because it is a feature that it has and it is nice to have. It does come with a carrying case. I'll be honest, I probably won't use it because there is so much stuff, not junk, stuff in my trunk that I'll probably just end up carrying this cover, which is the reflector also, and then just put the cover on top of it, and that's gonna protect it enough. I'm gonna be very careful not to break this little screen in the back, so I'm gonna be careful where I'm gonna place it in the car, but I'm not gonna carry, let me show you guys. I'm not gonna carry this big ass case. That is, for me, for what I do, this is too big. So when I'm carrying it in the car, I'm just gonna carry it, like I said, covered. Make sure you cover the glass in the front and make sure that the back is protected, that it's not gonna get hit or, you know, hit with like something that's gonna puncture it and break it. Maybe I'll look and see. I don't know if there are any cases or anything like that. Even just to cover the top, that's really all it needs, that protection up there. I'll figure it out. But like I said, I'm not gonna be carrying the case, but it does come with a nice case in case you guys, yeah. It does come with a case if you wanna carry it in it. And then the battery is on the side. It's right there. You can tap the little line right there and it's gonna show you how full it is. So that's a nice little feature. So that way you know how much battery you have left. Obviously you can see on top on the screen. So let's go home. You can see the battery meter up there. But it is also nice that you have it on the battery itself. And you can see with the little blue lights how much battery you have left. Speaking of which, the charger is this thing right here, which, if I'm honest, I would prefer that. I don't think you can charge it via USB-C. I plugged it in via USB-C on the other side, on this side, which is made for updates. And it didn't show me that it was charging, so I don't think it was charging. I think it was just, you know, it's basically asking me, what are we updating? One thing I want to test out for you guys is, while it's plugged in, can you shoot with it? Because that is, like I said, a question that we got on another flash. I'm pretty confident that it's going to work, but let me test it out. Sorry guys, I'm getting out of frame, but I'm testing it out on the side because I don't feel like unraveling the cord. Plugged it in. All right, so it does look like it works, and I'll tell you why. Because when I plugged it in, the little blue LED lights were turning on. So it looks like it was charging, and it was also letting me fire it because I kept triggering it. So that's a nice benefit. If you shoot in a studio, you don't have to worry about battery life because you can just leave it plugged in if you have an extension cord, so it can go long enough. Another thing is the battery is removable, which is nice, because if you do have a really long day, you know you're gonna have a really long day, you're not gonna have time to recharge this single battery. You can purchase another one. I think it's like $135, something like that. And that way you have two batteries. I don't imagine you'd be shooting at full power the entire time, but in case you need to, you can purchase a different battery that you can just replace and put right in. One thing that I did kind of get a mixed response from the research that I was doing is that it said that it, instead of waiting until it overheats to kind of give you the overheating issue where it slows you down from shooting, it does that after a certain amount of shots. I don't know what that number of shots are, but when it reaches that certain amount of shots that you take and continuously, it does go into the overheating protection, you know, part where it slows you down. It's not going to let you shoot until it's back to normal. Tomorrow, like I said, we're going to be shooting A, it's going to be really hot out. B, we're going to be shooting probably at pretty high power because it's going to be the middle of the day. So tomorrow is going to be a great day to test these things out. So that way I can give you guys honest feedback as far as, you know, any overheating issues. I don't shoot like an animal, so I don't think I'm going to get an overheating issue on this one just because it's such a powerful unit. But like I said, I'll report back and I'll let you guys know. And then the other thing, there's one thing that's actually not terribly relevant to me because I don't use a light meter, but it is compatible with the, and I'm reading this because I don't know anything about this, the Sekonic L858D compatible. So I guess you can use it with a light meter. And guys, if you use a light meter, please, and I'm not being like a jerk or anything, like leave a comment, explain, put some new information in my brain. I don't know how to hook it up or anything like that. I came in when digital was already picking up, so never really used a light meter all that much. But just wanted to mention that little note that I wrote down. And then as far as price, the Q4 Pro is $436, so it's not terribly expensive for what it is. It's a lot of power. It's a nice unit. It's built really nicely. Comes with a carrying case, like I said, the reflector. It comes with this handle right here, which is what I'm going to be using because it does feel very substantial and very solid. Obviously, it comes with the battery charger. You know, it's a great unit for $435. Now, the Q4, the non-Pro, is $379. So if you wanted to save even a little bit more money, you could get the Q4. And again, from the research that I was doing, a lot of people were saying that it's fairly similar. It's not a huge night and day difference. So you could probably get away with the Q4. If you want to spend like an extra 50 bucks, something like that, then just go ahead and get the Q4 Pro. I mean, my thing is, if I'm getting a piece of equipment, and obviously you get, one thing I did I mention the handle? Yeah, so it has a handle. So there it is. And one thing that I wanted to mention to you guys is, if you're going to get a piece of equipment that you're going to be using for the next 5 years or 4 years or 8 years, whatever, that time goes by quick, by the way. You think that that sounds like a long time? There's a bunch of equipment that I've had for like 10 years. Spending an extra 50 bucks for the upgraded model that's a little bit better, that is a little bit clearer, probably has, you know, a few extra bells and whistles, yeah, probably worth it. You know, it really depends on how much volume you're shooting and how much you're actually going to be using the unit. But I would probably go with the Pro over the original just because it's something that I always think long-term. I don't plan on not being a photographer, so I'm just going to spend just a little bit more, get the slightly better one, especially on these, you know, cheaper units. I'm not telling you guys go and buy Pro Photo and spend $5 grand on, you know, a ridiculous flash. When we're talking about 400 bucks versus, or 400 and what? 436 versus 379. I mean, I would probably just go with this. But stay tuned, guys. Join us on this little journey. Tomorrow we have 2 shoots. Both of them are basically in the middle of the day. So I'll give you guys my honest feedback. Again, even though these companies send us this stuff, I tell them all the time, whether it's Tamron, Neewer, Godox, Magma, doesn't matter. I'm going to mention if I see any inconsistencies. I'm going to mention if I see something that could be improved. And if any company takes it in a negative way where I'm being just negative and you know, talking bad about them, that's on them. I'll tell you this, Magmod, for example, I sent them a couple of notes on the mag stand that they sent me, and I sent them a video and I said, hey guys, you know, this little area on the bottom, I think the spring might be a little funky. Maybe, you know, let's take care of this before the final units come out. He responded, he said, yes, we've addressed it. We've noticed what it was. Thank you for sharing that feedback. That's the kind of companies that I like to work with, is companies that will take what I tell them and take it as positive criticism, because in the end, you guys who purchase this equipment are going to be the ones that are going to be winning. They're going to be winning because they're going to come out with better products. So I always give them feedback, and sometimes I do it publicly, because if it's something that you're going to run into, I want you guys to be aware before you go out and buy. So with that being said, guys, if you enjoy our content, feel free to subscribe, feel free to like our, you know, videos. All that stuff really does help our channel grow. And I appreciate every single one of you that has subscribed recently, and all of you guys that have been here since the very beginning. All right. Thank you guys. Have a great week.